Whiskey. It's such a massive subject. Where do you start? How do you order it? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Thankfully for my country's tourism and export industries, it's very fashionable to be a whiskey drinker these days, but it is a massive subject and can be a little bit overwhelming, so I'm here to help you break it down. What I'll be looking at here is single malt whiskies. If you are more of an American whiskey drinker, then pop over to my video on the difference between rye and bourbon. There's a link below, or you can continue watching and we'll link through at the end of the episode. There's no judgment here at all. Behind the Bar is a safe space to learn about all things bar and booze, but I am going to let you know some common misconceptions that I see at the bar so that no matter what side of it you're on, we can help each other out. First of all, Scotch has to be from Scotland. There's no such thing as a Japanese Scotch or an Australian Scotch, and you'd be surprised how many people don't realise that. When people ask for a Scotch, what they're usually looking for is a single malt whiskey. Here, the single means that it comes from one distillery, and the malt means that it's made entirely from malted barley. Single and malt are not actually codependent, so you can have a whiskey which is a blend of malts from different distilleries. Probably one of the most famous examples of this is Nikka's Pure Malts. This one is the Taketsuru. They own multiple distilleries in Japan and will blend malts from the different distilleries. This is not to be confused with blended whiskey, where the absence of the word malt on the label is because it is not made entirely from malted barley. This will have some grain whiskey in there, which is a bit cheaper to produce. This is not to say that these are inferior quality products, it's just a different style. They are meant to be smooth but complex, and they do tend to be a little bit easier on the pocket, at least at entry level. And so they're a good option if you're just getting into Scotch, or if you're looking for something to use in a cocktail, where single malts can be quite expensive and quite a powerful flavour to try and balance. So now you know what it is, how do you order it? To be honest, coming up and asking for a single malt whiskey when the back bar is full of whiskey isn't particularly helpful. Traditionally, they've been broken down by regions, with each region having a historical style. However, more and more that doesn't really mean anything, as a lot of distillers are experimenting and having fun with their spirits. So to be honest, at this point, I put my trust in the bartender. Do be conscious of your surroundings for this. If you're in your local pub and they maybe only have 2 dusty bottles of whiskey on the back bar, they're probably not going to know heaps about the subject. But if you're in a bar with a pretty serious whiskey collection, I guarantee you the staff will be more than happy to chat to you about it. And please, just because someone is young or, shock horror, female, please don't make the mistake of thinking that we won't know anything about the subject. It is our job. So start with the flavour profile. A few keywords should start you out. Do you like something light and floral? Do you like something rich and sweet? Something oily and savoury? Or something big and smoky? These obviously don't cover all of the possible permutations of this elixir of life, but it should be enough for the bartender to choose a few bottles for you to get started. At this point, get your nose in there. Ask them to take the top off the bottle. Smelling is free and it gives the best indication of whether or not you're going to like drinking it. Also, don't be afraid to ask the bartender what the price is if they don't tell you. Everyone has a different threshold for what they think is an acceptable amount of money to spend on whiskey. Just ask my bank manager. So you're better to do that at this point rather than risk getting that nasty shock where you're ending up paying double what you wanted to. Next, how do you want to drink it? Neat means nothing in the glass except for the whiskey. On the rocks means with ice. Now you can obviously ask for as much or as little ice as you want. Just bear in mind that actually having some more ice in the glass is going to slow the dilution, so it'll keep it cold without watering it down. The ideal is 1 big block of ice which melts slowly, which most good whiskey bars will have and you can also get for home. Neat on the rocks is not a thing. Sorry. My personal preference is to ask for a little bit of water alongside your whiskey, especially if you're drinking something cask strength, which means that it's literally just been taken from the cask and bottled. Most spirits are watered down to around 40%, so that's the alcohol that we're used to drinking. Some of these cask strength whiskies can be up as high as 60%, so have a little taste. If you reckon that you can only taste the harsh alcohol, then add a little bit of water. Have a taste again. If it works, then great. If not, add a little bit more until it's at a point that you find it comfortable to drink. Think of it like using salt. Taste the whiskey, and if you're struggling to get any flavors other than the alcohol, then add a little drop of water. Have another little sip. See if it's opened up at all and you're getting any more flavors. If not, then add some more water and continue until it is delicious for you to drink. You can obviously add Coke or any other mixer that you like. As I said, there's absolutely no judgment here. It does just feel like a little bit of a waste of money to my frugal Scottish sensibilities. Obviously, Coke is such a strong flavour that it's going to drown out a lot of the nuances and complexities that you're paying for in higher end whiskies. So I would tend to suggest sticking to the lower end of the price scale for mixing. That being said, a Lagavulin mixed with some Coca-Cola, otherwise known as a smoky cokey, is delicious, and I defy anyone to tell me otherwise. Hopefully this gives you some pointers. Please let me know in the comments if you'd like me to get a little bit more technical with where the different flavours come from or the historical styles of different regions. And please give a little subscribe because we have plenty more on whiskey coming up. But in the meantime, slàinte.